What's up, guys? Casual Bill here, and we are in part 2 now of Lanard Toys The Corps action figures by era. Sorry for the last bit of the video, it fucking just cut out on me, so I had to just finish up, and we're here now anyway. So at the end of the last video, we was looking at the new recruits flying force, or some of the members anyway. So this is the leader, John Eagle, and he actually just got a brand new release in the first response pack, so that is definitely worth going and grabbing. I feel like I've spoke quite a lot about Condor, so I'm not going to ramble on, but I will say that the new recruits version, this blue and orange version, is one of my favourite versions of the character. So this was another free pack that I got back in the day, and this is the new recruits C team. I can't remember the name of their actual team, but yeah, they're the C team. On the left we've got oh god damn it, I think his name is Steve O'Reilly, but I could be completely wrong. We've got Marcus Rip Dundee, and then another version of Gills. So the new recruits version of Gills definitely has a lot less paint and detail than the other versions of Gills, but I still really like this one. This is what I call Gills' civilian look, and I actually did try to buy another one of these figures loose because I like it that much, and I paid for it on eBay, and it just never came. This is Marcus Rip Dundee, and he is cool. So this guy's Australian, and he actually came with some boomerangs and a holder to throw boomerangs, because that's what Australians do. Well, all kidding aside, like, he's got the cool sculpted windswept hair, and I like his colours. They don't match much with the other two, but... So moving on to this guy, his name is seriously escaping me, but he's an Irish fellow, and he's got the fingerless gloves, which is dead cool. I imagine he's like the boat driver of the team. I don't know why, but he always was to me. And I love how diverse Lanard Toys have always been with their characters. So you get loads of different hair colours and skin tones. Really awesome work. So we're going to look at these three guys next, and I really love all of these. You have Shadow version 1, I believe, could be version 2. You have Dakota, and you have Mirage. So this is Mirage, and he is Chinese, and he's a Special Forces operative, and he is my favourite figure in the line. He's just so cool. All of his weapon storage, his cool mask, his hat, and we don't know his name. Like, he's literally just codename Mirage, and we know his nationality is Chinese. So this character is called Shadow, not Plague. Don't worry, we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, this is Shadow version 1, I think. It might be version 2. And this is one of them where this version is pretty difficult to find. And he is really cool. He's just like a Black Ops guy. Stay tuned for part 3. So this is where it gets just a little bit confusing. It's one of those your guess is as good as mine situations. The guy in the green is called Plague, and he's from the Corps Elite line. And I can only assume that Plague is a clone of Shadow. And if that's not the case, then he changed his name and turned into a villain, because Shadow is a corpse guy. He's not like part of the Curse or the Marauders. So in my headcanon, Plague is a clone or clones of Shadow. So I army build Plague and use him as foot soldiers for the Curse. This guy's name is Dakota. Yeah, like the Stereophonics song. He's like a ninja, assassin. He's a pretty cool character. He has nunchucks sculpted on the back of him, but they are tiny, they won't fit in his hand at all. But he's another figure. He's just like really cool. I believe there's 3 versions of this guy, and I have 2 of them. This is my least favourite of the 2 that I have, but I still think he's a pretty cool character, and the dark uniform isn't too bad. I think he's supposed to come with these like hand hook weapons, but I always thought they were pretty dopey. This is the Total Soldier version of Dakota, and this is the one I prefer out of the 2 of them. He goes with the Total Soldier gills just so well, and I imagine them to storming like any sort of water base would just be amazing and killer. And guys, I got these figures back in 2005, which, you know, very close to being 20 years ago. In 2005 was a mad year. Liverpool won the FA Cup and the Champions League and played some of the best football arguably I've ever seen in my life. I was obsessed with Metal Gear Solid, and I loved these figures. Yeah. And now we're gonna jump forward again to the Corps, Elite, and these are the case members. From left to right, we have Plague, Troll, Ogre, and Puma. So I'm going to start with Puma, and that's because she is different to every other figure I've shown you so far, in the fact that this is when Lanard Toys up to their game with the Corps figures. She has ball jointed hips, she has swivels on her shoulders and on her elbows, as well as bends, and she has a ball jointed head as well. Yeah, she's an ace figure, and I've seen a lot of people use this body for customs at the 1/18 scale. You will know this guy as Ogre. His first name's Axel, and yeah, he is just a menacing looking figure. I like to use this guy as the leader of the case. He looks like he would be calling the shots to me. He has the like case skull emblazoned on his chest, bigger than all the rest. He has this fucking like power suit thing with a helmet, and you just give him loads of weapons, tool him up, it'd look crazy. And if Ogre is like dark side, then I guess Troll is like the sad. He's like Ogre's right hand man. He's a pretty cool looking figure. I would not trust this guy as far as I could throw him, probably, though. He looks proper dodgy, kind of like the Orcus Diver. Yep, sketchy looking dude. So here's a closer look at Plague, and even with barely any of his face showing, he just seems to have this worried look on his face. Yeah, if you ask me, he's definitely the army builder for the case foot soldiers. Now let's look at the Corps Elite good guys. This is Snake Bite, like Puma. She has all that modern articulation. She has that cool punk haircut, and I imagine she's just as popular for custom work. This is Diesel. I never really liked him much. He shares the same body as Dakota, and he replaced Dakota on the Aqua team. And the reason he looks like a bad guy is because his head was used for the leader of the Marauders, whose name escapes me right now. I do really like the Corps Elite gills. It's a lot of people's favourites, and you know, I completely get that. This is the Corps Elite Boulder and Spade, and they're like the only ones in this sort of desert camo. But I guess you can use older figures to go with these guys, and that's why I made so many customs. Here is Corps Elite, Condor and Coralie Rain. Coralie Condor, love it, such an ace figure. And then Rain, I think the early ones are better. Stay tuned for part 3.